Today we're going to be reacting to Michael Jackson, From the Jackson 5 to Global Icon, Biography of Michael Jackson by MJ Forever. Let's see what this biography is about, y'all. Let's go.
On August 29, 1958, Michael Joe Jackson was born to Joseph and Catherine Jackson in Gary, Indiana. He was the seventh of 9 children. Catherine and Joseph's other children are Revy, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, LaToya, Marlon, Randy, and Janet Jackson. The house was always filled with music. Jackson's mother taught the children folk and religious songs, to which they sang along. Jackson's father, who worked at a steel plant, had always dreamed of becoming a successful musician. When this failed to happen, he decided to do whatever it took to make successes of his children. Michael Jackson began his musical career at the age of 5 as the lead singer of the Jackson 5. The group played local clubs and bars around Indiana and the eastern USA. While performing at the Apollo Theater in New York City's Harlem neighborhood in 1968, Bobby Taylor of the music group The Vancouver and Gladys Knight discovered the young group of singers. Very soon after that, the group was signed to Motown Records and groomed for stardom by Berry Gordy and Suzanne DePass. Berry Gordy, the famous head of Motown, took control of the Jacksons' careers. By 1970, the group, known as the Jackson 5, was topping the charts and riding a wave of popularity with such hits as ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There, each of which sold over 1 million copies. No other debut artist or group placed their first 4 singles at the top of the charts. The Jackson 5 performed all over the world and sold almost 100 million albums worldwide. The group also appeared on several televised...
Y'all gotta... Michael Jackson was 12 years old. 11 years old when this shit happened. In 1970, he was 11 years old. 10 going on 11 because his birthday's in August. But for a 11-year-old to go on tour and to be making music is cool because motherfucking Bow Wow was doing it, you feel me? But and going on tour too. But for Mike back in the 70s, early 70s,
specials, and a Jackson 5 cartoon series was created. Gordy quickly recognized Michael's appeal and released albums featuring him alone. These solo albums sold as well as those of the Jackson 5. Unfortunately, the hits stopped coming from the young group from Gary, Indiana, at their label Motown. During that time, Motown was heavily concentrating on its film division, and many groups felt stagnant because of the lack of direction and control from the label. Fearing for his son's careers, father manager Joseph Jackson took the Jackson 5 to Las Vegas in the mid-70s and created a family act at the MGM Grand Hotel to excellent reviews. The Las Vegas show was tailored into a hit summer replacement show on network television that lasted 2 seasons. Despite the success in Vegas and the variety show on CBS, the group felt that the lack of hits at Motown was damaging their careers. During the Motown era, the Jackson 5 made 14 albums and a multitude of top 40 hits. But the group, citing the need for artistic freedom, they left Motown Records in 1976. Jermaine Jackson decided to stay with Motown Records with his father-in-law Berry Gordy, which caused a temporary rift in the Jackson family. The Jackson 5 had incorporated their younger brother Randy Jackson into the act, who became Jermaine Jackson's official replacement. Unfortunately, lawsuits and copyright issues forced the Jackson 5 to relinquish their stage name. When they signed with Epic, the sister company of Columbia Records, the Jackson 5 became the Jacksons. The newly named Jacksons were a very successful group, finally getting what they were denied at Motown: artistic control. The Jacksons made 6 albums between 1976 and 1984 and toured constantly to promote their albums globally. Michael Jackson became an actor in the mid-70s when he won the role of the Scarecrow in The Wiz. The big-budget feature also starred Diana Ross and was directed by Sidney Lumet. Michael Jackson moved to New York for the filming was a staple at Studio 54 at the height of disco culture. The film, The Wiz, opened with much fanfare, but unfortunately had mixed reviews and was a financial disappointment at the box office. However, the film's musical director was Quincy Jones, who produced a top 40 hit song from the film, Ease on Down the Road, a duet between Diana Ross and Michael Jackson. A partnership was born when Jackson...
Meet new Febreze Air Mist. Its finer mist floats longer in the air to fight your toughest odors.
3 albums with them.
Come do my curly hair shower routine with me. I'm starting off by using the Native Curl Care shampoo and conditioner.
A partnership was born when Jackson asked Jones to produce his album and Jones accepted. The album was called Off the Wall and was released in 1979. Off the Wall was the first solo album of Michael Jackson as an adult. The album was an international smash with 4 top 10 singles. 2 of the singles, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You, reached number 1. The album went on to sell an astonishing more than 20 million copies worldwide. In 1982, Jackson and Jones again joined forces on the Thriller album. Nothing prepared the world for the Thriller phenomenon. Released on December 1st of 1982, Thriller sold over 70 million copies worldwide. It remains one of the best-selling albums of all time. Thriller fully established Jackson as a solo performer, and his hit songs from the album Beat It, Billie Jean, and Thriller made him the major pop star of the early 1980s. Billie Jean was a smash hit. The video for the song became the first video featuring an African-American performer to be played on MTV Songs, also helped Jackson break the color barrier. By 1983, Jackson was the single most popular entertainer in the world. Another key moment came when Motown 25 was produced. Berry Gordy asked Michael and his brothers to perform on the Motown 25th anniversary. Michael Jackson asked for a solo spot where he performed his hit single Billie Jean. On the night of the broadcast, an estimated over 50 million people watched Michael Jackson perform. After that incredible night, the Thriller album became a must-have for everyone, not just an impulse buy. Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones created a pop culture phenomenon. Michael Jackson became a musical and celebrity icon. Thriller released 7 top 10 singles. Beat It, the video and number 1 song were one of the most played videos on MTV until the Thriller video. The Thriller video cost nearly $1 million to make and boasted filmmaker John Landis as director. The video was almost 15 minutes in length. This was the first video that networks like MTV and Showtime had to pay for the honor of broadcasting it, and it was the first video of its kind to be sold in stores with documentary footage, the making of Thriller. After all was said and done, Thriller became the biggest selling album of all time. Jackson won an astonishing 8 Grammy Awards, a feat that has only recently been tied. The years between 1984 and 1986 proved to be fruitful for Michael Jackson. He reunited with his brothers and recorded the album Victory. The Jacksons toured the United States with the Victory Tour, and Michael Jackson gave his proceeds to charity. In 1984, Jackson purchased the ATV catalog for $47 million. Under the guidance of Quincy Jones, Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie wrote an international anthem with the release of the song, We Are the World, which was performed by 44 of the world's most popular recording artists. We Are the World single and album raised funds for the charity USA for Africa, raising money and worldwide awareness for famine in East Africa. Michael then teamed up with George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola for the production of the 3D movie Captain EO for Disneyland. The 30-minute film was the most expensive short film ever produced at $27 million.
Damn.
In 1987, Jackson released his 3rd solo album, Bad, with a Martin Scorsese-directed short film. Bad went on to have 5 number 1 singles and spawn an 18-month world tour, which grossed more than $200 million.
The fact that Bad is his 3rd solo album as an adult is crazy. Because at that time, he was already 30 years old. So, but then again, like 78, he was 20. 82, 83, he was 24, 25. And then he was doing stuff behind the scenes after Thriller came out, like you just heard. We Are the World, he did Captain EO. Plus a bunch of other things. And then Bad came out in 87. But the fact that Bad is his 3rd, I mean, he got a lot of albums on his own, obviously. But as an adult, only 3 albums. Well, he got more albums than that. He got obviously Off the Wall, Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, Dangerous, History. Then you got Invincible, and then Michael, and then Escape. But I don't know, just up to this is my last thing. Just on, I don't know, only 3 albums as an adult in '87, and he's been around since he was. I feel like he should have came out with his first album as an adult. Well, no, he was only 20 in '78. Never mind. Anyway.
After his world tour, Jackson wrote his autobiography with an assist from Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis called Moonwalk. Michael Jackson ended the 1980s by being named MTV's Artist of the Decade. At the beginning of the 1990s, Michael Jackson signed what was called the largest contract with a recording label in history. However, scandal and tabloid gossip threatened to derail his career. In 1991, Michael recorded his 4th solo album, Dangerous. He supported the album with a tour that took him to Eastern Europe for the first time. The Dangerous tour entertained 3.5 million fans during 69 concerts. During this time, he launched his own charity, Heal the World Foundation, which was dedicated to improving the lives of children and the environment around the world. In 1994, Jackson shocked the world when he married Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of the late rock legend Elvis Presley. Many felt that the marriage was an attempt to improve his public image. In August 1996, Jackson and Presley divorced. In 1995, Michael Jackson released his greatest hits album, History, which contained 15 original songs. The first single, Scream, a duet with his sister Janet Jackson, debuted at number 5, making it the first single to ever debut that high. The next single that Michael Jackson released from the History album was You Are Not Alone, which debuted at number 1, making Jackson the first artist to debut at the top of the charts in America. Michael then embarked on his History World Tour in 1996. To support the album, Jackson produced the short film Ghosts, which played in theaters all over the world before it became a home video in the European and Asian markets. In November 1996, Jackson announced that he was to be a father. The child's mother was Debbie Rowe, a longtime friend of Jackson. They married later that month in Sydney, Australia. On February 13, 1997, their son, Prince Michael Jackson, Jr., was born in Los Angeles, California. Jackson and his brothers were elected to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, in 1997. Later that year, another album, Blood on the Dance Floor, History in the Mix, containing new versions of songs from History along with 5 new songs, was released. The album received good reviews, and the world continued to be fascinated by the talent and career of Michael Jackson. Michael and his second wife Debbie Rowe had another child on April 3, 1998, named Paris Michael Catherine Jackson. The Jacksons ended their marriage in October 1999. In 2000, Jackson's promoter sued him for $21.2 million for backing out of 2 planned concerts the previous New Year's Eve. In 2001, Jackson, while delivering a lecture at Oxford University in England to promote his Heal the Kids charity, described his unhappy childhood and proposed a Bill of Rights for children that would provide for the right to an education without having to dodge bullets. In 2001, Jackson celebrated his 30 years of solo stardom with sold-out performances at Madison Square Garden. The television special drew 45 million viewers. In October of 2001, Michael Jackson released his 7th solo album, Invincible, an album that debuts at number 1 in more than 14 countries. Unfortunately, due to record industry politics, the album was abandoned in mid-2002 after the hit single Butterflies. Fans from around the world protested Michael Jackson's treatment by his label. Many demonstrations were organized around the world, with several websites posting information regarding the maneuverings of Sony's mishandling of the Invincible project. As for Jackson, he hired several high-powered attorneys to look into possibly suing Sony for breach of contract regarding royalty and other mismanagement issues. Jackson went on the offensive, publicly denouncing Sony music head Tommy Mottola as racist and a devil, which caused a firestorm of publicity and increased media scrutiny regarding his alliance with the Reverend Al Sharpton and his music initiative for economic justice for minority recording industry artists. Even throughout the new round of negative publicity regarding the war with his label, Jackson was still able to expand his artistic and business.
No flip, no cap, no mess. Just grab and squeeze. Try Dawn Easy Squeeze.
Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Jackson was still able to expand his artistic and business endeavors. Michael Jackson took a cameo role in Men in Black 2 and created a massive buzz with the audience and industry pundits alike about his potential in film. He created Neverland Films with MDP, an independent film company based in Canada. And the Sony/ATV catalog bought the Acuff/Rose catalog, perhaps the premier country music publishing catalog in the world. Jackson produced a television special featuring his home movies, which were a rating success. He also received the key to the city from the mayor of Gary, Indiana. He received the key to the city of Las Vegas from the mayor of Las Vegas later in 2003. In August 2003, Michael Jackson won the BMI Urban Awards for the song Butterflies. He also celebrated his birthday with his fans in Los Angeles at the Orpheum Theater. Michael Jackson threw a charity event for the organization Oneness at his Neverland Valley Ranch. Later, Oneness presented Michael Jackson with the Power of Oneness Award that September. In October, Michael attended the Radio Music Awards where he received their humanitarian award. He also finally released the video and single What More Can I Give at the show, the proceeds going to several charities. Michael Jackson and Sony Records released the compilation CD, Number Ones, in November 2003. Jackson released the single, One More Chance, and the song was having major success on all major charts around the world. On the album's scheduled release date, while Michael Jackson was in Las Vegas, Nevada filming the video for One More Chance, Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department raided Michael Jackson's Neverland estate. Michael Jackson subsequently was arrested and charged with child abuse. Jackson vehemently denied the allegations and maintained his complete innocence. His fans from all over the world came to Santa Maria Courthouse to support him, and those who couldn't hold candlelight vigils in support and prayer for his good being. On June 13, 2005, Michael Jackson was acquitted of all the criminal charges against him. The jury didn't find the evidence against him credible. Because of faith, immeasurable inner strength, and never-ending love and support from friends, family, and his devoted fans, Michael Jackson persevered and was found innocent of all the charges. But the trial took a toll on Michael's health and well-being, and shortly after, Jackson left the USA and spent time recovering and regrouping overseas in places like Dubai, Bahrain, and Ireland. Beginning in 2006, the world saw a fully recovered Michael Jackson emerge from a seemingly long period of absence. Jackson was awarded a string of awards for his achievements. In May of 2006, he was awarded the Legend Award at the MTV Video Music Awards in Tokyo, Japan. Then, in November of the same year, Jackson was awarded the Diamond Award at the World Music Awards ceremony held in London. Jackson was also awarded framed certificates by the Guinness World Records organization, which officially recognized him as the most successful entertainer of all time. Jackson received many certificates, among them were certificates for the biggest selling album of all time, Thriller, with over 104 million sales, youngest vocalist to top the US singles chart at age 11, and first vocalist to enter the US singles chart at number 1 with You Are Not Alone, and highest paid entertainer of all time, $125 million in 1989 Forbes list. In November of 2006, Michael gave an exclusive interview from Ireland with Billy Bush and announced that he would be releasing his next album with the help of producer will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas. The end of 2006 also saw Michael Jackson finally return to United States soil. Jackson landed in Las Vegas, Nevada in December, reportedly to further plan out his return to entertainment. Jackson left Vegas briefly, traveling to Augusta, Georgia to attend the funeral of his lifelong inspiration, James Brown, who passed away on Christmas Day of that year. According to the Reverend Al Sharpton, who also attended the funeral service, in his last conversation with James Brown, Brown expressed his desire to see Jackson return to the music scene with great music that everyone could enjoy. Jackson spoke highly of Brown in his brief eulogy, referring to him as the master of his craft and crediting him for inspiring him to become an entertainer. In the latter part of 2007, Jackson appeared on the cover of Ebony magazine, which released a photoshoot and interview with the King of Pop in celebration of the 25th anniversary of Thriller. He also did a photo shoot in Lamo Vogue fashion magazine. Michael's self-imposed exile was over, and it was clear he was planning something special. Starting with, the Thriller 25th anniversary album was released in February 2008. Then in March 2009, to the delight of his fans, Michael Jackson announced a series of concerts at London's O2 Arena. 750,000 tickets sold in 4 hours after going on sale in March 2009.
4 hours?
Sadly, Jackson's This Is It tour never materialized. Just weeks before he was to open in London, Michael was taken from us and the world was in a state of shock and grief. On June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson died from cardiac arrest in Los Angeles. A 911 call was received shortly after noon, and he was pronounced dead at 2:26 p.m. Medications administered by his doctor as an intravenous sleep aid were subsequently cited as a contributing factor. The world received news of Jackson's death with shock. Spontaneous gatherings took place in the streets all over the world to mourn his death. Michael Jackson's physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter nearly 2.5 years after Jackson's death and was sentenced to 4 years in the LA County Jail. He will only serve 2 years of his sentence due to overcrowding. Jackson's life was celebrated at a memorial service at the Staples Center in Los Angeles on July 7, 2009, attended by his family and children, Paris Prince and Blanket. Those who paid tribute by speaking or singing included Smokey Robinson, Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, Jennifer Hudson, Mariah Carey, Reverend Al Sharpton, Jackson's brothers and sisters, and most movingly of all, his young daughter, Paris Catherine Jackson. Michael Jackson's career has spanned for decades, earning him billions of fans across the globe and an iconic place in pop culture as the king of pop as well as legendary status in music history. He set the bar for music video production values, and his tireless pursuit of perfection in the recording studio has influenced a whole generation of artists and dancers seeking to emulate his music and his dancing. You can still see his influence today. Michael Jackson will also be remembered for his generous humanitarian efforts around the world, especially for children's causes. His recorded donations are listed at over $300 million in the Guinness Book of World Records, but those who knew him stated it was much more than that, because of the many anonymous donations he gave to help others in need throughout his lifetime. One thing that remained a constant in his life was his love and devotion to his fans, and of course the devotion of the fans to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson has become much more than an entertainer to the world. He is a part of our cultural heritage, and he will continue to blaze a trail in music that others can only hope to follow. His musical contribution and legacy will never be challenged or forgotten. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys think about Michael Jackson, his life and legacy.
Well, y'all, that's the end of this video. Let's talk about it in the comments. What do you guys think he would still be here if it wasn't for his doctor? And what do you think he would be doing if he still was alive? Also, let me know what your favorite album is, whether that's from him solely or him and the Jackson 5. Let's talk about it in the comments. Also, let me know what you guys think of this video. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.